Welcome to Ancient Life Hacks. I'm Jared Madsen. I have a master's degree in Chinese medicine. I spent many years living in China. I'm fluent in Chinese, and I'm very interested in not only ancient Chinese culture, but ancient cultures from around the world and the great wisdom that they have and that we can dig through and find and apply to our lives today. So today we will be talking about forest bathing. It's kind of a more interesting, popular topic today, but it's based in very old traditions. So what we will do today is we will go over what is forest bathing, where it is found in various cultures and how they look at forest bathing, the scientific discoveries. So there's been more research in the past couple decades as to the benefits of forest bathing. And then we'll go into how do you forest bathe? How long do you forest bathe for? And are there other things that we can apply to forest bathing, like fasting or meditation or journaling or things like that, that maybe will help enhance our forest bathing experience? So let's dive in. Forest bathing, known as, I'm going to butcher this, Shinrin-yoku. I speak Chinese. I don't speak Japanese, so I kind of butchered that. In Japanese, is a practice that involves immersing oneself in a forest environment to promote mental and physical well-being. Well, that sounds nice. The term Shinrin-yoku can be broken down into Shinrin, which means forest, and yoku, which means a bath. Thus translates to taking in the forest atmosphere or forest bathing. This Japanese term was coined in 1982 by the Japanese Ministry of Agriculture, Forestry, and Fisheries. They promoted forest bathing as a way for people to relax and reduce stress, especially given the high-paced and stressful urban life many Japanese citizens were leading. Yes, that's very interesting. Japanese culture comes from one of many deep traditions that connect to nature, yet today they are known for living their, working long hours, and they build these giant cities. I mean, it's amazing. I've been to Japan many times. I love it there. It's great. But you can imagine if you worked in that environment, or if we have Japanese friends who are watching the channel and would like to leave comments in below of what it's like. I can only imagine the long hours and the buildings are very stressful, and therefore having forest bathing, going out into the forest, is probably incredibly beneficial. But let's go in and let's check out different cultures and what they say about it. And then we're going to dive into some of what science says about forest bathing. So I'm going to butcher these names. I might not even say them. I will butcher them so bad, and all my friends from these countries will laugh at me, which is fine. That's cool. I'm going to do my best. We'll leave the names in the description below. So if you want to research a particular culture's forest bathing, you can go ahead. So in Norway and Sweden, and I would assume in all of Scandinavia, I believe Finland and Denmark practice similar things as well. Something called Friluftsliv. Sorry. Which translates to open air living. Oh, that's cool. The Scandinavian concept is about embracing an outdoor life in everyday activities. Yes, I can't think of a single Scandinavian friend who doesn't like being outside. It's just a big part that is ingrained in the culture. Key aspects: outdoor hiking, yeah, absolutely. Hiking, camping, skiing, deep connection to nature, and valuing simplicity and authenticity. This is just a big thing that you see in Scandinavia. And one side note, one thing that's interesting, they will take their babies, right? Their babies are in the stroller. They're in they call them the pram, where the baby can lie flat. And when the baby goes to sleep, right, it can be very cold in Scandinavia. They will leave the baby outside in those, they'll go in, have a coffee, and they'll leave, and you'll see these rows of these prams that are all lined up with babies lying in them, taking naps outside. And I believe we could dive into this more. This is a great topic, but I believe the idea is kind of what we're getting into, right? They're breathing the fresh air. It's probably helping with their immune system, helps to strengthen that. Where there is a story back where a Danish person back in the day, it was a few decades ago, came to New York City and did that. They got arrested, and they had to spend like a night or two in jail, trying to clarify, hey, this is what we do in Scandinavia. And then New York said, you know what, that's not what we do here. That is child abuse. That's a culture clash if I've ever heard one. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Germany. Oh, Waldeinsamkeit refers to the feeling of being alone in the woods and the peaceful contemplation that comes with it. This is a German thing. The key aspects: solitude, reflection, connecting with oneself in the context of nature. So to me, this sounds a little bit more about the individual, right? Being in nature by yourself, which would be a similar but different experience to the Scandinavian, which looks like they're like, hey, let's just go have a party out in nature. Let's just all go and be out there. Passeggiata, Italy. Although not strictly a forest or nature-centric activity, this is a leisurely evening stroll taken in urban or rural areas. So they have a special word for going on a walk. Am I missing something here? Social connection. Oh, okay. So it's more of like, it's probably everybody goes out. Actually, I've seen that in Italy. That is definitely a thing. The community, everybody goes out. You see it in the morning as well. It's not just after work, right? Like everyone going to the local cafe and kind of social connection, relaxation, low-paced walk, often in natural surroundings. Yeah, absolutely. Bush medicine. Indigenous cultures in Australia. Oh, cool. An ancient system of healing and knowledge about the natural environment, emphasizing the use of plants and nature for physical and spiritual well-being. Use of natural resources for healing, spiritual connection to the land, and respect for nature. This would be a great one to dive into, the Aboriginals, because they're very unique, and being so far away, I think, from everything, their culture is just very different than a lot of places. And I don't know a lot about it, but I do have a lot of Australian friends, so maybe we can get somebody to tell us more about some of this great stuff. But I would definitely imagine that being in nature is a big part of what they do. Vision Quest, Indigenous Cultures in North America. A rite of passage is in some Indigenous cultures, typically involving solitary immersion in nature to seek spiritual guidance and self-understanding. Okay, now we're upping the ante, right? It's not just about, hey, we're going out and it's a healthy thing. They see it as a spiritual thing. You can have this as part of your spiritual path. Key aspects: extended periods alone in nature, fasting, spiritual and self-discovery, connection to the world. Okay, now we're getting serious. Believe it or not, science has some stuff to say about this. I'm not gonna read where all of these studies came from, these scientific studies, but I will give you the gist, and then probably on the website, because I think this is too much to put in the description here, ancientlifehacks.com. Go check it out. On the website, you can get all the references to this. And while you're there, hey, why don't you sign up for our newsletter? That's a pretty good idea. It's a quite nice newsletter, and I can put the notes and a lot of this stuff in the newsletters. What do you think about that? Stress reduction. Studies indicate reduced levels of cortisol, a stress hormone, were observed in participants after forest bathing. Enhanced activity and number of NK cells, natural killer cells. Those are NK cells. NK sounds better. Which play a key role in fighting infections and cancer. Okay. Reduced symptoms of anxiety, depression, and fatigue in participants exposed to forest environments. Great. Nature experiences can enhance cognitive functions and increase creativity. All of these, again, these are scientific studies. I'm just massively summing up, and you can read about these yourself. Reduction in systolic and diastolic blood pressure after forest therapy sessions. Lower blood pressure. Great. Nature exposure has been linked to reduced symptoms of attention deficit hyperactivity disorder in children, ADHD, reduction in that. Great. Oh, another big word. Okay, here we go. We can do this. Trees release various bioactive substances, yes, I would assume they do, including phytocides, which can reduce stress hormones, lower anxiety, and improve mood and concentration. Interesting. So you're literally breathing in and taking in the energy of trees. That might be another way to put it, right? You're taking in these actual substances that trees are emitting. Forest environments promote increased parasympathetic nerve activity associated with relaxation and decreased sympathetic nerve activity associated with stress response. Before we really get into how to do this, I was reading before about how the brain works and processes information is like connected to the visual structure of trees and nature. And therefore, looking at trees, to put it another way, looking at trees just matches your brain perfectly, right? That's what we're supposed to be looking at. Whereas straight lines and boxes, like we see in cities, is not really how our brain works. We're gonna do a quick comparison here on some things that they've found of forest and city and just some of the differences. Being in a forest lowers cortisol levels, we talked about that, a primary stress hormone. The organic irregular patterns in nature, often referred to as fractals, have a calming effect on the brain. Okay, so that's what I was saying. This summed it up much better. Fractals. Forest bathing will make you relaxed and feel good and probably make your brain work better and you'll be more creative. Whereas cities just stress you out and make you go a little crazy. How do we forest bathe? Do we simply go into a forest? Yeah, I think that's kind of it. I mean, there's some stuff here, but it's like just go and be in a forest. I think that's kind of the main thing. If you do that, that's 95% of forest bathing right there. Be in a forest for a period of time. Probably the longer the better. We'll get down to how long in a minute here. So how it's done: choose a forest setting, find a natural area, whether it's a dense forest, a city park, dense forest is probably better, or any space with trees. Yeah, again, dense forest is probably better. Probably I would say the more nature, the better. But hey, if you just got a park, better than nothing, right? Leave technology behind. Okay, so this is a big one that we're gonna get into later down. To fully immerse oneself, it is best to disconnect from phones, cameras, and other gadgets. That's kind of, for the serious forest bather, that's the thing. And that's why you want to go deep into a forest somewhere where basically you cannot see any like man-made structures, right? You don't see any buildings, you don't see anything like that. And you take with you ideally not cameras and gadgets and all kinds of stuff. So it's like basically what you see is just pure nature, right? The technology just kind of kills the whole thing. A little bit kind of totally kills the whole thing. You could still say it's good, but if you're walking in nature, staring at your phone the whole time, is it that much better than sitting on your couch? Maybe a little. Walk slowly. This isn't a hike. Oh, it's not. I would think hiking could, but okay, I was wrong. Move at a relaxed pace, allowing yourself to observe and connect with your surroundings. Okay, sure. I was wrong. That sounds good. Engage your senses. Focus on what you see, hear, smell, and touch. Feel the texture of the bark. Listen to the birds. Smell the leaves. Smell the leaves. Okay. Smell the flowers first is maybe what I do, but I guess leaves smell good too. Or I guess we're not trying to smell. We're just experiencing nature, man. Why get stuck on the flowers? Nature, and observe the play of light and shadow. I've never done that. I will do that next time I'm forest bathing. Breathe deeply. Take in fresh air, focusing on deep and calming breaths. Sure, I would think that the air in forests is, and we saw there's some of those good substances being emitted by trees. So breathe those deep into your lungs. Find a quiet spot. Sit or lie down, close your eyes and listen to the sounds around you. All sounds great. Be present. This is a form of mindfulness. Stay as long as you like. You can spend anywhere from a few minutes to several hours or days, right? Depending on your preference and schedule. Okay, so the basics of how you do it seem pretty darn simple. You go out into nature, try to not think about too much. Walk slowly and smell leaves and touch trees. Not too hard. We can try that. Okay, how long do you do it for? And what are some of the benefits that get from maybe doing this longer? Short session, 20 to 30 minutes. Okay, so just kind of a quick walk, right? Even a brief immersion can reduce stress, provide a break from the demands of daily life, and offer a quick refreshment for the mind. A standard session, 2 to 4 hours. Benefits. This duration allows for deeper relaxation, more significant reduction in stress hormone levels, and better immersion in the forest atmosphere. It also provides time for multiple activities like walking, meditating, or journaling. We're going to get into some of those further down. Again, leave your cell phones and all that. Or, you can bring it, turn it off for emergency purposes only, something like that. Extended sessions, full day. Now it's getting into it, right? A full day out in the forest. What does that do? A full day in the forest deepens the connection to nature, allowing for prolonged exposure to the beneficial compounds released by nature. We talked about that. It also promotes creativity, yes. Improves focus, yes, and provides an extended break from technology and urban stressors, ideal for those who are looking to have a day-long retreat in nature and truly disconnect. So this is where it gets interesting. I haven't done this except for when I was a kid when we didn't have cell phones. This is where it starts to get interesting to me. What if, let's just think here for a second, what if you woke up one morning, say you already had a spot in nature. This to me seems like a good experiment, right? You don't check your phone. You don't do any of that. You wake up and then you go there and then you spend the whole day there. Maybe you've got, your meditation, right? You bring a bunch of water with you, bring food with you, you bring all that stuff with you, but you don't really bring technology with you, and you can just kind of spend the whole day there. You can have some activities planned, or you can just kind of walk around and smell a tree. I kind of wonder what we would experience. And from what I've read about some of these tours where people go for days, right? One day is kind of the technology detox, because people, from what I read, people are still kind of thinking about their cell phones, and they're still, they still want to, they want to flip and do the stuff that they're so used to do. So they're having withdrawal. That's day one. And then the other days where it gets deeper. So let's read the next one and I can finish the story about that. So day one, it seems like it's kind of withdrawal, but it would be pretty interesting to do. See where you end up at the end of the day. Have you kind of gotten over not looking at your cell phone all the time? Not, Overnight or multi-day. The benefits multi-days in the forest can result in improved sleep patterns. More substantial immune system benefits. I guess that would make sense, right? You're out breathing in nature all the time, and an enhanced sense of well-being. The extended time fosters a profound connection to the natural world and can be transformative for many people. Ideal for nature enthusiasts, those on vacations, individuals. I would say it's the last one more. Individuals seeking an extended therapeutic experience. So basically what I was reading, and I want to try this, and anyone who has tried anything like this, please leave your experience in the comments below. I would love to read those and what you felt. It will be encouraging to me and everyone watching this to go out and to have a serious forest bath, not just a walk in the forest, but something more serious. From what I could tell, it seemed to be saying that 3 days in the forest without technology. So, basically a 3-day camping trip, or possibly even in a cabin, but just kind of, no cell phones, no technology, none of that. You're just kind of out in the forest. You're basically only seeing forest, I guess, except for your tent or your cabin. The first day is withdrawal. And then the second day is like you kind of wake up and you're kind of getting into it. You're not so freaking out. And then by the third day, it's like a complete reset of your brain and your body and a lot of stuff. And then any days after that is probably just really strengthens the whole thing. This sounds like it would be a good once a year kind of thing to do. But again, I haven't done it. But if you guys have if some of you out there have some good experiences and leave those in the comments below, I might try it. I might try it and I might document it. I would end here, but you want to know what? We're not going to end here. We're going to go over another couple things. What happens? This is us thinking outside the box. And again, anybody who's done this stuff, please leave your experience in the comments below. What if you happen to combine fasting with forest bathing? Perhaps fasting, right? You bring a bunch of water with you, but no food. You're in the forest for a day and you're just drinking water and fasting. Maybe you're going to experience something kind of cool. I don't know. Yeah, and then some cautions are, especially if you're fasting in the forest, be sure that you have water and that you have a way to get out if you're feeling off. Okay, here's another one. Meditation. What happens if you go in the forest and meditate? Do you get extra benefits? Forest environments naturally reduce cortisol, which we've talked about, which can deepen the relaxation achieved through meditation. Oh, okay. So there's a bonus right there. The sensory richness of a forest provides a dynamic backdrop that can enhance mindfulness practices. The natural environment can act as an anchor, helping practitioners remain present. Do some forest bathing, some meditation, and throw some fasting in. That might be intense. If you've done that, please tell us about it. The serene environment of a forest can stir emotions and insights. Journaling in this setting allows for immediate capture and processing of these feelings, facilitating emotional clarity and catharsis. Because if you don't have all those distractions and it's kind of the stress is reduced, you probably will have cooler ideas that come out. If you choose to go forest bathing, you choose to apply some of these things or not, I'm kind of seeing here there's two main ways that you could go do it. One would be by yourself, and the other would be with a group. So what I'm gathering is if you go by yourself, that's more of the introspective. You can do meditation. I mean, you can do meditation in a group as well. So I guess you could do that as well, as long as it's kind of the group agrees, or those who don't want to do it leave you alone. But the going by yourself, it's like sensory deprivation from the city, but then stimulation from the natural environment. You're just kind of immersed in that, and then you have all this time to go and look inward, and probably journaling would be great with that. Going with a group, though, here's an interesting thought. Since we communicate with each other, often, texting and, video calls, cell phone, social media, all of that. If we go into nature with a group of people and we all agree we're not going to use our cell phones, we're gonna do this forest bathing thing, but we can talk and we can just like anything else, that kind of is very encouraging to the way that people are supposed to communicate with each other. And so if you go in nature and you do that, you're getting the benefits from nature, and you're also getting the benefits from communicating like people are supposed to communicate with each other. I think there would be something really huge to be said about that. So maybe the answer is some sort of group thing, ideally over the course of a few days, that has stretches where you can go off and kind of be by yourself, then other stretches where you come together. Maybe if you're with a group of cool people, you can incorporate some fasting, some meditation, some journaling, or you just go out and you have fun with your friends and you leave your cell phones back. Just that itself just might be super awesome. Actually, going in a group would probably really help with the withdrawals from social media and your cell phones, because at least you have people there to talk to and to hang out with and to help pass the time. Whereas if you're there by yourself, just like, oh, I gotta look at my cell phone. No. And then you have to fight that on your own. Okay, so that's forest bathing. Please, by all means, if you've experienced forest bathing, leave those in the comments below and encourage me to go out and do it. Maybe I'll document that. That would be kind of fun to do sometime. All right, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe. Also, please give me a thumbs up. Go ahead and forward this to your friends and family. Let's build this the real way that things are built, by sharing with your friends and family. And also, please go check out my website, ancientlifehacks.com, and sign up for our newsletter. All right, cool. I will see you guys next week.